What is a domain name?
Before we dive into how to create or manage a website, it's very important to understand what a domain name is, how to get one, and how to configure it. In quick terms, a domain name is the online address your clients and users will use to access your website. It usually consists of a combination of 1, 2, or more words. Preferably, you want a combination of keywords related to what your website is about. Here are a few examples of domain names with one or more keywords: Wix.com, Networksolutions.com, and FitSmallBusiness.com. Just to name a few. Please note, keeping your domain name as short as possible allows for users to better remember it. A domain name is a string of characters which usually consist of 3 levels. The first level is usually referred as the top-level domain. A good example of top-level domains includes .com, .net or .org. The second-level section is the name you pay for and register via a domain registrar. Second level is unique within each top-level domain group. If the selected domain name is not available, you may need to use a different top-level domain or simply change your second-level name selection. The third-level domain section is usually referred as the subdomain or host. This is the only portion of your domain name you can freely control. From the domain registrar, under DNS configuration, you can create third-level domain entries as needed. Third-level domains could help you branch out sections of your website into easy-to-access subdomain addresses. Most domain names can be registered for 1 to a maximum of 10 years. In some cases, when registering for more than 1 year, or when bundling your registration with web hosting, you could get a discount from the domain registrar. This is because most domain registrars are also web hosting providers. By knowing this, you could use the same company for both your domain registration and web hosting services. An additional benefit of using the same company for both your domain and web hosting services is that in most cases, your domain and web hosting will be automatically configured for you.
Searching for a domain name.
To obtain a domain name, you will need to first register it at a domain registrar. Before registering any particular domain, it makes sense to check if the domain name you would like to use is available for registration. The first step is to conduct a search for the domain name you want. Most domain registrars have somewhere on their website domain name search options. Use these search options to find which domain names are available for registration. In some cases, if your domain name is not available for registration, domain registrars will provide you with name variation and suggestions. It is important to understand that in most cases there will be no refunds for domain registrations. So, make sure the domain name you pick is the one you want.
Can I get web hosting from a company that is not my domain registrar?
Yes. It is in fact sometimes the recommended path to follow. You may get a great deal at a domain registrar and better web hosting services from a different web hosting provider. Or simply, it could be the only option you have, if the domain registrar can't provide you with the type of web services you need. Now, let's dive into how to configure a domain name that was registered at a different company from the one you selected for web hosting. For this example, I'm going to configure a domain name I registered at GoDaddy to point to Bluehost, which is my current web hosting provider. First, I need to log into my GoDaddy account, look for the domain name I would like to point to Bluehost, and then look for its DNS settings. Next, we need to locate under the domain name's DNS settings, where to change the GoDaddy's name servers, with Bluehost's name servers. All this is configured within the domain name's DNS settings. A simple Google search can provide us with Bluehost's name serves. Another way will be to contact Bluehost for this information if unsure. One thing is for sure, most web hosting providers will provide you with at least 2 name servers. The same is for domain registrars. They should provide you with a way to change your domain name's name servers either online, via their portal, or by other means. After changing your domain's name serves, please allow a couple of hours for this change to take effect across the internet. If after a few hours your domain name doesn't point to your web hosting provider, please clear your device's DNS cache or history. You can search in Google how to clear my DNS cache. That's all for now. Please don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button. Thank you.